All right, so we have our chapter 3 project, and it's all in the family. So we know that we're in the book Cells and Heredity. In chapter 3, we are talking about inheritance. So we're actually going to be looking at how traits are passed on from parent to offspring. Okay, so overview, you are going to have a pet, and your pet is going to mate with my pet. And your pet has several different characteristics. My pet has several different characteristics. And we're going to look at what would happen if your pet and my pet mated and had four offspring. So we're going to look at how traits are passed down from one generation to another generation. For your project, you will be recording the characteristics that your pet has. I will give you my characteristics of my pet. So you're going to record your characteristics. You're going to make an image of your pet based on the characteristics that you chose. You're going to make an image of my pet based on the characteristics that I chose. And then you're going to make an image of each of the offspring that the mating would produce based on the Punnett square crosses that we're going to do in this project. So your overall goal is to create a paper pet that will be crossed with my pet and to determine what traits the offspring will have. To complete the project, you must create your own unique paper pet with 5 different traits. And the actual traits that we see are called the phenotype. So we're gonna be working with 5 different phenotypes. You're going to determine the genotype for each trait according to your choices. Genotype is actually the actual letters that we see or that we have in our genes that determine what the phenotype or what the actual trait that we see is. You're going to cross your pet with my pet, and then our mating will produce 4 different offspring. And you're going to determine what traits the offspring will have based on the crossing that we're going to do with the two parents. So let's do some background. I introduced 2 new words for you. One is phenotype and one is genotype. The phenotype is the actual trait that you see. The genotype is the actual, what's called the allele combination, or the actual letters that are in our DNA that are put together or rearranged that will give us what we actually see or produce what we see. So we're going to be working with 5 traits in this project: color, nose shape, ear shape, body decoration, and tail characteristics. So there are 2 choices for each trait. For color, you have either blue or gray. For nose, you have a large oval nose or a small triangle nose. For ears, you have long floppy ears or short pointed ears. For body, you have plain body, that's just one color, or a spotted, speckled, designed body. For tail, you have a short bushy tail or a long silky tail. So those are your only 2 choices. So when you start to make choices for what you want your plant to, what you want your pet to look like, you're going to pick based on the choices that you're already given. You can't make up your own kind of thing and then do it. It has to be based on the phenotypes that are presented. Now, each phenotype is determined by a genotype. So let's go through the chart. Starting at the top, we know the color trait has 2 different phenotypes. It can either be blue or it can be gray. Now, if I have a gray phenotype, then in my DNA, my actual chromosomes, where it says my chromosome for color, is actually going to say little b, little b. If I have a blue color, my DNA can say one of 2 things. It can either say big B, or it can say big B, little b. Either way, if I have one of those 2 choices, my color will be blue. The only way my color can be gray is if I have 2 small b's. Now, when it comes to what is produced or what is shown and what is not, we get into what's called dominant and recessive. A dominant trait is one that if that allele or if that letter is there, the trait automatically goes to whatever that letter says. In genetics, we represent a dominant trait by a capitalized letter. So for color, my big B is my dominant trait. That's going to be my blue. Big B means blue. So whether I have two big B's or whether I have a big B and a little b, my color will be blue because big B is going to be dominant. Now, if we go to nose, large oval is my dominant trait. We're going to say big O for dominant. So big O will give me a large oval nose. Big O will give me a large oval nose. The only way I'm going to have a small triangle nose is if I have a little o combination in my DNA. So my pet, Mrs. Dempsey's pet, is little b. So what color is that? It's going to be gray if you use the chart. My pet's nose is little o. What color, what nose is that? That's a small triangle nose. My pet's ears are little l. That is short pointed ears, and actually that's a I need to fix that. So in on your rubric, fix that. That short pointed should be little l, not big L little l. It's little l. And then my body, my pet's body is going to be little p, and you need to fix that as well, spotted and speckled. We should have fixed them in class, but if you weren't in class, I'm telling you now that spotted speckled is a recessive and it should be little p. Short pointed ears is recessive and that's going to be little l. And then for tail, my pet is going to have a long silky tail, which is a recessive trait, so it's going to be little s. So my pet looks gray. It has a small triangle nose. It has short pointed ears. It has a speckled or spotted or designed body, and then it has a long silky tail. So when you make a image of my pet, that's how you're going to draw it. You're going to draw it with a gray color. My dog or whatever is going to have a gray color. You're going to put a small triangle on it. You're going to put short pointed ears on it. You're going to design the body with either spots or speckles or stripes or whatever you want to do, and then you're going to give it a long silky tail. Now, when you decide what you want your pet to look like, you one needs to decide the phenotype. What do you actually want to see on your pet? And then after you decide the phenotype, you need to plug in the genotype. Is it a recessive trait where it's going to get two little letters? Or is it going to be a dominant trait where you have a choice of either two letters or a big letter and little letter? So your first step is one, decide what you want your pet to look like. That's phenotype. And then after you do that and write it out, you're going to write out and decide what you want your genotype to look like. So let's go through some background. We're going to do what's called a Punnett square cross. And I'm going to do one with you so you know how to do it so that when you go through and do your crosses, you've actually been through the process already if we haven't gotten through this in class. So the first thing you want to do is identify the genotype of the parents. So let's say that you choose for your pet to be blue, okay? And with that blue color, you want your genotype to be big B, little b. Well, let's say for the instance of this, my pet is big B, little b. Now, in actuality, it's not, but for this example, I want my pet to be big B, big B. So you're crossing a blue dog with a blue dog, but you're crossing a blue dog with the genotype of big B, little b, with a blue dog with the genotype of big B, little b. So what you see at the bottom of the slide is what's called a Punnett square. It's actually like a tic-tac-toe box, but there are only four boxes that you're really going to be concerned with. Now you're going to realize or you're going to notice that on the side, there are two boxes that says side, and then there are two boxes that say top. For our purposes, we're going to, I'll be on the side, and then your pet's genotype will be on top. And we're going to start plugging in our letters into our Punnett square. So we've identified the genotype. We've already done that. Now we're going to put the genotype into the top and the side boxes. So I have my Punnett square, and now instead of side and side, top and top, I've plugged in my letters. So keep in mind, trait is going to have two letters. For me, I'm on the side. My pet was big B, little b. So I put a big B and then I put a little b. Your pet was also big B, little b. You're on top. Your pet is on top. So you have big B in the first box, little b in the second box. So now we place them or plug them in to our top and our side boxes. So now that we've done that, we're going to now cross the side genotypes. So when I say cross, I mean just carry over. So I have my big B, little b. On every row that's on my big B, I'm going to put a big B in each of those boxes. And there are two boxes. On every row that has my little b, I'm going to put a little b in that box. So I'm carrying over or crossing my side genotypes. So now my pet is done. All my genes have been given out. Next, I want to cross the top genotype. So now we're going to go to your pet. So your pet who's in white, big B, little b. Now everything that's underneath of your big B will get a big B in that box. Every box underneath the little b will get a little b in that box. So now we've crossed the side and we've crossed the top. So now I'm going to have 4 boxes that are inside my Punnett square, and they're all filled in now. So I have a big B in box number 1, and I see the number in yellow. So big B in box 1, big B in box 2, big B in box 3, and little b in box 4. Now those numbers are important because each box represents an offspring. Each box is a puppy. So I have puppy number 1, puppy number 2, puppy number 3, and puppy number 4. Puppy number 1, big B. Puppy number 2, big B, little b. Puppy number 3, big B, little b. Puppy number 4, little b, little b. So my possible genotypes, that is the actual letters that occur in my DNA, is big B. I have one box that has that in it. Big B, I have 2 boxes that have that combination in it. And then I have big little b, one box that has that combination in it. So I've identified my possible genotypes, what my puppy may have or may get based on this crossing. So now that I've identified the possible genotypes, for each genotype, I'm going to identify the phenotype. So I'm going to go back to my chart that gives me my key. We're talking about the trait of color. We know there are only 2 colors, blue and gray. Blue is dominant, gray is recessive. So anything that has a big B is going to be blue. I have a big B, that'll be blue. And then I have a big B, that will be blue. Anything that has 2 little b's will be gray. So we can look now and see box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, and decide what color each of those puppies will be. So for each genotype, we've identified the phenotype. Now we're going to calculate probability. So going back, we did big B, 1 box, big B, 2 boxes, and little b, 1 box. So big B occurs in 1 out of 4 offspring. That gives me a 25% chance that my puppy will be big B. Big B occurs in 2 out of the 4 boxes. That gives me a 50% chance that my puppy will be big B. Little b occurs in 1 out of 4 boxes. That gives that puppy a 25% chance of being little b. So now I've calculated out my probability. So I know what percent or how probable it is that each of those puppies will get each of those genotypes. So I've calculated my probability. Now I'm going to calculate the probability of the phenotype. Big B, 1 out of 4, 25% chance it will be blue. Big B occurs 2 out of 4 boxes, 50% chance it will be blue. Little b occurs in only 1 out of 4 boxes, 25% chance it will be gray. So now I have 3 out of the 4 offspring will be blue because big B, or my blue, is 50% plus 25%. So now that's a 75% chance my offspring will be blue. Only 1 out of the 4 offsprings will be gray. This is a 25% chance of an offspring being gray. So now we calculated the probability of the phenotype. So now we're going to write out our explanation. Now this is the actual template that you have on your rubric. Okay? I've given you what my genotype for my pet is, so I've already plugged those in, and I'm on the side. So you've noticed that on the back of your paper, all those on the side are already plugged in for you. The only things you need to plug in is the genotype of what you want your pet to be. And I've written out a template for exactly what you need to write when you do your project after you do your crosses. So, based on the example that I just went through, this is what I'm going to type up and put actually on my poster board. For the color trait, the genotype Big B Little B was crossed with Mrs. Dempsey's pet's genotype Big B Little B. So I put in my genotype, I'm sorry, you put in your genotype, and then you cross it with my genotype. And again, my genotype is already written in there for you in the template. There is a 75% chance an offspring will have a blue color and a 25% chance it will have a gray color. And we went through how we got that. So now I'm going to break it down box by box. Remember those yellow numbers I told you were important? Puppy number 1, puppy number 2, puppy number 3, puppy number 4. So now I'm going to go through and tell you what each puppy is going to have. Offspring number 1 has Big B, Big B. It will look blue. Offspring number 2 has Big B, Little B. It will look blue. Offspring number 3, Big B, Big B. It will look blue. Offspring 4, Little B, it will look gray. And I'm going to do that for every single cross that I do. I'm going to type it up for every single cross that I do. There are 5 crosses because there are 5 traits. So I'm going to have this paragraph 5 times for every single cross that I do. Now, the good thing about this is it breaks it down. So when you go to make your puppies, you have a blueprint for how you're going to make them. So in the beginning, you're going to make my pet. So I've told you what my pet looks like. You're going to make it and post it on your poster board. Then you're going to make your pet. And when I say make, I mean actually draw it and color it and give it ears and give it a nose and give it a tail and put it on your poster board. Then, after you do the 2 parents, you're going to do 4 puppies. And each of your 4 puppies are going to come from the crosses that we do. So you're going to have puppy number 1. All of puppy number 1's characteristics will come from the first box on every cross. All of puppy number 2's characteristics will come from the second box of each cross. All of puppy number 3's characteristics will come from the third box of each cross. And all of puppy number 4's characteristics will come from the fourth box of each cross. So you're going to do the crosses, type them out, put them on your poster board, do the summaries, which is what I did here, type those out, put them on your poster board, and then you're going to make images of the 2 parents and images of the 4 puppies. So what that looks like in the rubric. Pet, you need an image, a phenotype, and a genotype. So you're going to make the pet, type up whether it's blue with pointed ears and a small triangle nose and a long silk tail. You're going to write all that out. And then you're going to give me the genotype. You're going to do the same thing for my pet. And I've already given you everything that you need to do that. Then you're going to make 4 puppies and actually draw them onto your poster board or make an image of them on the computer and put them on your poster board. Then you're going to include your Punnett square crosses, 5 of them, 1 for each trait, with your summaries or with your explanation. So you're going to turn to your poster board with your 5 crosses or 5 Punnett squares, with your 5 paragraphs, that is your written explanation of each Punnett square, with your 4 puppies that have been drawn onto your poster board or typed up and paste it on your poster board, and then your 2 parents. That's your pet and then Mrs. Dempsey's pet. And that will be posted on your poster board. And then you're going to turn that in Thursday, March 5th. And that'll be 100 points for that project. So if you need help, let me know. Send me an email, send me a message through the website. You can also leave a voicemail through the website. And I will most certainly get back to you and help you with whatever I can. Keep in mind that this project has to be typed just like any other project has to be typed, but you cannot come to me the day it is due and say you need it typed because you need to attach all of your typed up stuff to your poster board. So you need to have that done before you bring it into me the day it's due. So if you need help printing stuff out, or if you can't get to a computer and you need to go to the library, you need to talk to me beforehand so we can make arrangements for you to get done what you need to get done and for you to get access to what you need to get access to. Again, if you need help, let me know. And I'm here for anything that you need. All right, till next time.